Hang on, let me kind of set up just one sec.
Well, you're live. Good morning. Welcome into another episode of Good
I'm
Morning
gonna rejoin.
NASDAQ. Took a little break yesterday as we were doing our virtual boot camp, and yesterday was the live trading portion of it. So we spent the morning doing that from 9 to 12. That was a really good time. Great turnout. Thank you to all you who participated. Appreciate you guys being there. Hope you learned something from all the feedback we've gotten so far. There was a lot of value. We had some great speakers. I mean, Sunday, you guys went from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6. You worked through your lunch break just so you could have an extra guest speaker. So Triforce Trader could speak. So that was awesome. And we look forward to doing one in the future. So you guys all, also, everyone who doesn't want to hear me talk about it anymore, congratulations. It is gone. It is past. The next one will be in person. So keep your eyes peeled for that information going to the end of the year. Huddie's really getting used to changing his background. He loves doing that. But it is the 25th day of June, 2024. It is a cold, or not cold, but it's a stormy morning. Right now, if you listen closely, you can probably hear the thunder in the background. But we've had some crazy weather here in Michigan. Huddie is on a beach, so that looks wonderful and nice. How are we doing this morning?
We're good. We're just getting everyone ready because I guess myself ready, because in 5 days I am starting my Europe hiatus where I go to Europe for months at a time. So soon this will be my background, except this looks more like a Hawaii type of Bali background and not much of a Europe background, but just getting excited, man. It's summer. I feel like everyone's already started their summer like vacations. People are already like taking photos on Instagram and saying, "Oh, summer 2024 was great." And I'm like, "Yo, I haven't even gotten out there yet. People haven't even seen my face. Like I got to do the thing." So excited for that. Pretty much kind of my last day trading here in June. I go to the Glacier National Park tomorrow with Jack Kellogg, Evan Skunk, and Chris Skunk. So be a fun little hiking trip between traders, and we'll get to network with them, and then off to Europe July 1st. So busy next week for me, but let's finish on a good note. The boot camp was amazing. I got a new camera for it, so that's why we're no longer on the phone.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Yep. Summer
Things
is
are
in
leveling
full
up.
swing. Sports are over. Basketball's over and hockey's
Even
over,
hockey.
which is awesome because all that makes me think is football is right around the corner. Football, Oregon Duck football is right around the corner, and we are excited.
And buffalo cheese dip and artichoke dip and beer.
Buffalo chicken dip.
Buffalo chicken dip, is that what it
That
is?
is a staple of Saturdays here in the Midwest. We got Gerald in the room, or in the Clover Trading YouTube chat. Wayne's here, Jeff's here, Master Fun's here. Welcome in. Jay Bones is here, who was a great speaker for us on Sunday. Talked about his journey as a scalper. He's over in the room if you want to ask him any questions. Gerald says, good morning, man. You guys have been really helpful recently for me to not overhype some of these plays recently.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for that. Always enjoy the no BS from y'all. Word up. Yeah, we try to keep it 100 around here and keep things underhyped and overvalued, and just tell you how it is from our perspective, and have a good time while we do it, and hopefully put a smile on your face. You know what put a smile on my face, Huddy, is if they subscribe to the channel and if they liked the video. It's free, it's easy. That's all we ask from you over here on YouTube, and it makes us feel really, really bubbly and happy inside, and we just want to see it. So let's get that like count up to 50 in the next couple minutes. And let's kick it off. We got a big gapper today. That's pretty much the only big one, 187% up on the day. Got a couple 30 to 50% gappers. But let's get into it. RGS is the first one. If I can head on over to the tracker of dilution. Interesting dilution tracker here. 2 million float. We'll look at the chart in a minute, but pretty expensive stock now after the 190% gap. Personal service industry out of the United States. News is that they announced a new credit facility to refinance existing debt. Obviously, people are really loving that. We look through there. It's kind of low across the board, except they have 4.6 months of cash left. They recently... their shelf expired, so they don't have access to the ATM anymore. And yeah, it just kind of has a weird feel here because when you take a look at the daily chart, there's not a lot of history. It looks more like a real stock by the price, and even the lows of the chart being 4 and 5 versus 10 cents like we're normally seeing. There's not a lot of big volume days like right now in the last 3 years. Today in pre-market is already more volume, and it's dwarfing by like 10x any other volume day. This is really just a trending stock that never really has any volatile day, too volatile to the upside or too volatile to the downside. Even the bigger volume days lead to very slow and steady runs, not what we're used to seeing in small cap, something like MLGO yesterday from 5 to 16. So this feels like much more of a real company, but only a 2 million float on the New York Stock Exchange, market cap of 29 mil, and gapping up just about 200% right now. Looks like nothing happened after hours, and we're just running on a new credit facility. What are your first thoughts, Jim Bob?
So I think you are right when you say this is more of a real company listed on the New York Stock Exchange, which the main difference between the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ is just basically a higher fee and more accreditation to be on the New York Stock Exchange. Meaning, if you want to be on the NASDAQ, it costs, I'm just going to butcher the numbers. It costs like 10,000. If you want to be on the New York Stock Exchange, it costs 40,000. So you're on the New York Stock Exchange, you feel like you're in this upper tier echelon of stocks. I mean, Tesla's on the NASDAQ, so it doesn't really mean anything. It's really just a pedigree. And you pay more money. So if you're willing to pay that money, meaning your business maybe has some type of cash, right? And that you're able to spend this expense to be on the New York Stock Exchange and it's worth it to you. I'm reading through the corporation. At first, I was like, okay, this is just a salon. It's a penny stock. Like, why is a penny stock a salon? Like, none of it makes sense to me. But then I read it, and it's more of like a conglomerate where they own a number of different salons. One of the ones that steps out, speaks to me is Supercuts, which is one that I know, right? Regis Corporation operates its salons primarily under the Smart Style, Supercuts, and some other ones, concept names. I don't know if that means they own Supercuts or there's some type of franchise. Huh?
There's one called Roosters.
Roosters, yeah.
Roosters.
I don't know if that means they own Supercuts or if that's some type of like I don't know, franchise or maybe they own some but not all, or it's some kind of like joint ventureship. I don't know. I really don't know. I just that's more of a real thing, right? It's tangible. I know what Supercuts is, so it's not necessarily the piece of crap, like little salon company that I thought it was. That's why I'm just agreeing with Dom. I think it is kind of more of a real company. Now, does that mean it deserves 150% gap up? Hard to say, right? Because a lot of what I do as a short seller is under the assumption that all these companies are horrid, that come from small cap, that come from a sub $5. It's an assumption. Not all of them are, but I assume, right? That's just kind of how I have conviction behind my plays that I want to short. When something does not scream scam to me, when this does have a reverse split, but reverse splits aren't always scammy. It can be. But if it doesn't scream scam to me, I'm definitely more or less short bias. Like I don't necessarily want to short real companies. Like Renta One Way came the other month, and I didn't want to short that because it was a real company. I know what they are. So it just falls out of the book of scams, and I like to short pumps and ones that are blatant. I just don't know if this is actually pumping or if they actually really did restructure their financing deal and now their salon is like excess more profitable and they're turning it around and they're going to achieve a good financing and continue to bolster their stock price. I don't know, right? So I kind of just stay on the sidelines as a short seller.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the news just to see if there's anything in there. The highlights say refinancing reduces outstanding debt by more than $80 million, saving $7 million in cash interest annually, and accelerating their investment in long-term growth.
Great. Sounds good. Now, does it deserve a 200% gap up? I mean, I still think, again, like I don't know data on like a case-by-case basis. I just know as an aggregate, it's still going to be hard for them to hold this gap up. But 2 mil float, real company, New York Stock Exchange. Maybe it holds up better than expected, or maybe it just kind of crashes like most of them do. It's really hard to judge with this information.
Yeah, and usually we talk about structure on the daily chart. There's not a lot here just because the volume today is so overwhelming to everything else. And really clean trend this morning. Like pretty much all higher lows. Every time it consolidates, it rips to new highs. It's been doing that 3 or 4 times now. So we got 26 minutes till the open. We'll see where it opens. If it's at 200%, if it's down at $10 and we're only up, less than 100%, we'll see it then. But so far, that is the biggest mover of the day, the biggest runner. I also don't love it from the perspective that when your biggest scalper of the day is $14 or $15, I think that you're going to bring in a different clientele. It's not the same people that have been buying these 15 to 50-cent stocks on big gaps every morning. Kind of the whole thesis that Huddie had with GME at $20 versus $80. So I think that might come into play, but I think it really just has to do. This might be a more like a reaction to the news, like is actually what I think is going to be here. But 2 million float could get interesting.
And what we say, like when we're referencing the daily chart and why this one is like more weird than others, like if you pull up something like AgFi yesterday, the biggest gapper yesterday, and you're looking at that daily chart, right? You're seeing a situation where it has like a huge history of like pumped up PRs, failure, and downtrending stock price. Like you just don't see that with something like RGS. So it's again just hard to really have a judgment of what it will or will not do. There's just no evidence. There's no data. So any type of position today is kind of like front running what will eventually be the data. And you kind of get to choose whether you want to be a part of that data set or not, or if you just want to look back and say, okay, this is what RGS does. Next time that I see it, like I'll react accordingly.
Exactly. We'll keep an eye on RGS here, see what it looks like into the open. As I look at the scan, something's just popping up in the 60% range now. Volcan, VLCN. Let's take a look here. Okay.
So immediately, or I'll let you go through the dilution.
Let's go there first. Overall risk is high. This is, wow, one of the smallest floats I think I might have ever seen. 320K. I don't know if I've ever seen one below 400. 320K. 2 mil market cap. It is the first all-electric power sports company of off-road vehicles. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't seen that nuance. They did a reverse split 20 days ago. Let me see what date that became effective. June 6th. So earlier this month. I don't see any news today. Someone let me know in the chat if they do see any news. 1.5 months of cash left. Not registered. All right, how do you talk to me?
So looking at the daily chart or filings.
Either or, anything that's interesting. I mean, fundamentally, it's a 300K float that.
Yeah. So your thing with 300K floats, like you hear a lot of like, I mean, we were just talking about this at the boot camp the other day, roundtable discussion. Like, are there any floats that we avoid? And sub 1 mil, gets that area where it's just so thin of a runner that it can kind of wick really strong in either way. And some people said they avoid them. Others said, just play it as it lies and, take a 1 hour loss if it does get a little wild and just make sure you're stopping out where you need to. The thing about low floats and the catch-22 is they tend to be the worst of the worst companies. There's a reason that their floats are so low. And it's because they're doing this habitual reverse splits, diluting, getting their stock price below $1, having to regain compliance, reverse split, dilute. And you can really see that in the VLCN type of chart when you're going back just 1 or 2 years or 3 years. We have a high price of 80,000, right? It wasn't actually 80,000 per share. They, diluted their stock. They did a reverse split. They pumped it back up. They diluted their stock. Now, recently, they did a reverse split, and now here comes the pump, is what I think, right? So this is much more of a pump and dump type of chart to me. Now, does that mean they're not going to run it first? Like, I don't know. It's got an incredibly low float. Not all of them are going to have these low floats, right? Like NKLA is going to do a reverse split soon. It's not going to be too low of a float. But VLCN, it's going to be a low float, right? 300,000 shares outstanding. So the other things that I kind of pick up on as I'm reading this and what makes me think this is like not a good situation is they have had some warrants in the past in March that were converted cashless, which is pretty much getting the shares at $0, if I understand that correctly. So they've been diluting, and they've been diluting in a way that is like really not preferable to shareholders. I don't think if you've been, long this stock, it's been a good situation, obviously. And they've just done some horrible things. So this does feel more pump and dumpy to me. Are they going to get it to spike first before they dump it? I don't know. But I don't think this is going to last very long. Maybe one day, but I doubt even that. And the thing is they don't have any dilution still available, right? They did the reverse split. They have a super low float. So it's not like gapping up, oh, they're going to destroy it. There's actually no dilution. They need to do more. So a lot of what they're doing right now is probably trying to get their stock price to a higher price to unlock more financing capabilities. And if that's the case, then they can, do a bigger financing, eke more money out, and they can stave off the next reverse split for longer. So that's probably their intention here. Maybe some kind of market value, MVPHS type of calculation to get this 60-day high to be higher than what it was. And then, yeah, that unlocks financing capabilities. So we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, interested to see how this one trades out of the gate. It got running yesterday. I mean, I don't see any news in the last 20 days, and we popped up randomly on Tuesday of last week. And topped out around 6. Yesterday and after hours just kind of flirted all the way up there on low volume. And after hours gapped up towards 7 this morning and now trying to hold that $6 area. So kind of a multi-day breakout of sorts down there. But I don't know the last time I saw a daily chart like this where when you pull back 150 days, the next resistance from 2024, and this isn't the all-time highs of 2024, is $230 a share. And we're at 6. This is funky. And this would scare me a lot to the short side.
Really?
300K flow, $6 in a world where if it went to 230, it wouldn't even be halfway to the highs on the year.
I mean, I guess like if it's going to 230, I would imagine it's very illiquid right now, which at 3 million shares on the day, that's not that liquid. It's more on the side of illiquid than not. But it has some volume, it's not like 100K, 200K.
This morning's already at like 20 mil dollar volume.
That was my scanner just.
Yeah, I have it at 3 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but
the dollar volume's good. Again, I'm just kind of looking like generally like does it have a ton of volume, And it's not a crap ton. It's not like 20, 30, 40, 50 million shares right now, which is what we normally see on the biggest, gappers of the day. So on relatively speaking, it's a bit illiquid, but yeah, there's liquidity there. I don't really understand what their intention might be. I mean, I don't think it's going to 250.
Well, I don't know if it's their intention. There's no news. I don't know what this is.
And so maybe it's what they're doing is like getting ready for an offering months down the line is the only thing I can really or maybe some type of repricing. Because their highest 60-day close right now is $38. So you're not going to beat that today. I doubt it. But maybe that comes down quite quickly over the next 15 days, like the 60-day highest close, because that's what they can base their offering off of. So every day that passes by, that number will come down since it's been on this like nasty downtrend for the past 60 days. So maybe they're just trying to get their stock price as high as possible and to do financing 2 or 3 weeks later, because they do need money and they have a really violent history of financings. So that's what I think is going to come. I just don't know how soon. And it doesn't look
only up 60% on the day, so it's not like we're having to make this tough decision when it's up 300% this morning. One that I probably won't think much about at the open, but if I see that on a scanner late in the day and it's at 20, could be a wild one. We'll see, though. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button as well. We're very close to 50. I appreciate you guys volunteering as tribute, just getting in there. Click the button. The like number goes up. Always very bullish on the like indicator. Some people bringing up all LRHC. Okay, this is interesting. Kind of falls in that category. Little 3-day breakout here that I know Huddie loves. On 52 million shares back. Mid-June here has been consolidated for multiple days. And now looks to have PR'd. What do we got? LRHC. 43 minutes ago, La Rosa Holdings to white label prop AI system Jamie to support real estate agents. 7 mil float still. 19 months of cash. Overall low across the board, actually, with this one and their dilution. Pending effect for some warrants at 260 and 225 and $3. So all where we're at right now. But breakout level here is 292. We're at 240 this morning. Let's see if it just kind of ripped up. All right, so just sitting near the highs right now. yeah, interesting one right here. Seemingly not going away. Seems to go on a run. No volume, big run. No volume, consolidate, and getting a move right now. Not one that I want to be chasing, or especially buying pre-market here. 16 minutes to go, but this kind of just reinserts it right back into the mix. Whereas maybe it's not something that was on my watch list because it was low volume and too far from the highs. Maybe going forward now, if the volume starts to turn and looks like we're going to get that multi-day breakout, maybe it's an afternoon look or something where I start to have to really think about that. Resistance level 290. There's some resistance overhead in the 550s. Still pretty far away, but would probably depend on the volume. But so far, good history of one-day runs. Not a good history of multi-day runs. What I say float was 7 mil. Something to keep an eye on as we go into the market day, though. Let's see what anyone else is saying. Wayne thinks you need to get a fan for your hair, considering it looks pretty windy over there on the water.
Okay, that's what the wind is for.
So it's just something to think about. Okay. Disclosed Project says, just stopping in. Nice to see you guys still teaching with passion. Well, if we didn't have passion, we wouldn't be doing it anymore. We're passionate people, and passionate people really want to see one more like out of you guys because we're at 49. I just noticed it. But yeah, we love doing this for you every morning that we can, which is most days. We're live every single morning, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8:45 a.m. and 9:15 on Wednesdays for live trading. Thank you for whoever just hit the like button the last time. There to get us to 50. There is no cap, though. If you want to like it past 50, feel free. Last thing, and then we'll get on out of here. Austin says NCPL multi-day breakout. I think I don't see it. So definition of a multi-day breakout is something like back here, where stock goes on some sort of run, sets a high, doesn't break the high for at least one day. There's your 1 day, two, multiple days, then it breaks it. All I see here at NCPL is a green day, is a day in which it broke the previous day's high, a day in which it broke the previous day high, and is now over the previous day's high again. So this is just a 4-day move, in my opinion, not a breakout and not a stock I'm all that interested in. Volume is just kind of bleh. There's resistance right overhead, and it's just really not that interesting to me. Someone said NNE. Just want to do a quick, I don't think my daily chart works on NNE here. Just kind of want to give you a quick, because they said it's been moving good lately. Just something that we talked about in the boot camp. We talk about over at Clover. Try to keep you guys safe. This is manipulated. This is I don't know exactly what type of pump this is, but this is, a walk-up of charts. Kyle's our in-house specialist when it comes to kind of scary stocks. And just for your reference, he is not looking at this like a first red day because of the manipulation, and worried that a first red day would play out in a way that is, he said similar to Clio, where it's not a first red day because of overextension. They can do whatever they want with the stock, the manipulators, and as you get higher price like NNE is, the moves get wonkier and it can become scarier. And so just want to let you know that when it comes to NNE, that to be cautious, because it's not what it appears on the surface.
Yeah, it's just it's honestly a really nice chart, and it's performed really well with all the patterns on the way up. But you just have to know that the underwriter here is, I think, Benchmark, and they have been the underwriter notoriously in a lot of the ones that go to down like 80% in a day. So that's kind of like why, it's not necessarily the same type of movement as natural retail order flow. It's more of like the underwriter kind of has it by the balls and will do what they want with it. And maybe one breakout looks like a good breakout and then they crush it to 0 in a day, or a first red day looks like a great short and they send it to 70 in a day. The point is that the patterns might not work the day that you expect them to, because there's another source of money flowing in that might disrupt the pattern. It's not natural. And there's reason to believe that is here, with the Benchmark underwriter.
Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. We are back on schedule after our boot camp, so we'll have some live trading tomorrow morning. Not sure about Wine Wednesday because Huddie is now embarking on his European gallivanting. I, for one, will not be going to Europe this year. It's something I've never done, and something I will continue to do this year. So I will be around.
Continue not doing.
But thank you guys for being here this morning. We'll be live again tomorrow. For all you Clovers, we'll see you in the room right now to get going on our watch list and prepare for the morning. If you want access to that, as always, clovertrading.io. If you want access to our watch list, trade alerts, our room, video lessons, webinars, all that good stuff. All you four least have a webinar with me and I believe Huddie today at 11 a.m. I got some stuff on the agenda for you today. So keep your, don't keep your eyes out. Just be there at 11. And we'll see everyone else tomorrow. So have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday.